Hello my friends. Today I plan to talk a little bit more about supports in Lychee Slicer, and actually I think that is valid no matter which slicer some of the parts I'm going to go through today. Um, uh, for the last movie I made, we talked about hollowing and island detection and how to use that. But in that movie, we had this little fellow we see in front of us, uh, straight on the build plate as you see him now. But for many reasons, sometimes you want to lean your print object to either get rid of some artifacts or, uh, as I used to, before I got me a Wham Bam magnetic plate, or any magnetic plate will do probably. Um, it was much easier to get the print off the plate, because if you put it like that straight on the plate with a large surface, there's a risk that you will chip the bottom of it while you try to get it off the plain plate. So we're going to discuss the leaning. First of all, we are going to look at some pictures about the angles that are ideal for the slide to lean the object and for different kinds of printers. Uh, First of all, we will look at gives a little example of what it could look like. You get artifacts potentially in different angles. You get stair effects, and this is actually depending on the layer height you're using. Um, this is on a ratios at 3 microns layer height, but I will show you another picture right here showing for different layer heights. This diagram is for 2K printers with RGB screens like Photon, Photon S, Allegro Mars, and similar printers. These angles needs to be adjusted if you get up in resolution like Saturn, Allegro Saturn, or Anycubic Mono X, which has monochrome 4K screens, which gives actually it gives a similar resolution because the pixel size on a 4K 8.9 screen is similar to a 2K 5.5 screen. It doesn't differ that much. I mean, 0.3 microns, but you get a good resolution with a large build volume. So here are the angles for Saturn and similar printers. I will post a link to the images in the comments or in the description later on when I'm finished with the film, so you can download them for yourselves. But then we'll take a look at what we can do with this little fellow here when it comes to the leaning and the angles. Since I am working with an Allegro Saturn with a 4K screen, I'm going to use 50 micrometers of layer height. We are going to use the 45-degree angle, and then I think it's quite important that you well, something happened there. Sorry about the glitch. I was saying that it's quite important that you try to figure out where you will have best benefit and which way to lean your print object. I like to have like this hand going towards the bottom of the vat so it can grow undisturbed. So first of all, we're going to rotate him, and I'm going to rotate him. No, not like that. There we have a handle. Minus 45 degrees. And yeah, I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to rotate him in this way as well, just so he'll fit on the plate nicely. Then I'm going to move him up a little, so I get him off the plate. I like 5 millimeters or similar. Well, or up to 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters is actually really good, because then it will be able to build the supports properly below. So now we have the lean, and we have raised him off the plate. I think I'm quite satisfied with this position. And now we go to supports. I said that we go to supports. So, and as in the last video, I do an island detection first, or island detector search. 31 islands detected. As you see here, here's a few, or a bunch. So let's add support to our islands. And it actually caught them all. 0 islands detected. This is actually one of the benefits of leaning as well, because you get better access to... You eliminate the islands on the front of the print, and you get better access to the islands on the back. And from here on, we'll actually just go ahead with the regular supports. I like to start with the heavy supports, and I like to build them as much as possible in the bottom of the print, so they get a steady hold. And I said in the last video that don't be afraid to use a lot of supports. And like by putting the supports here on the bottom, you won't get so much visible marks of them if you have issues with removing them. But I use the heavy supports here, so we get a really good hold towards the plate. And I actually put some up here as well to help stabilize the little fella. So in invisible areas, I do like a lot of supports and heavy supports. And when I've done with the heavy supports, I actually put on some medium as well in between, just to be sure, because we all know the feeling when your print is stuck in the bottom of the vat. Here we have got a little fellow quite well anchored, but we're still not done. You will have to put on supports elsewhere as well. Otherwise he will break off or similar. As you see here, you get these... I'll remove that support. You see, you get these white large areas. These are the lowest parts of that area where you're putting on supports. So every time you get a large white blob like this, you see here, the line is thin, but here it goes bigger. It is always good to put supports on those places. Like here on this ear, and well, here you can't, I can actually put one there. I'd actually like to support his fingers a little bit more as well. But it looks actually that the auto supports for the islands has taken care of a lot of the problems. We'll put one here as well. And one up here. Okay, look, if you have any more larger yellow areas where we can put in some extra supports. All supports are helpful, but sometimes you have to consider the markings you can get. But in the same time, better little marks you can fill in with some extra resin and a UV light, or having it deformed. I'll put some light ones here as well, just to show you what you can do more to get your print stable and stabilized. In the bottom here is no idea to put any more supports, but you have all this use. When you think you are done with supports, add some more. That's kind of a rule I run with. Well, now you have, here's a lot of supports, and there are a lot of thick ones and a lot of thin ones. And when you come to these tall ones, they get a little bit wobbly. So we add bracings. 440 bracings added. These structures makes it really sturdy, so it won't wobble around for you. We can actually move that support a little bit closer here and add more bracings. Okay, it didn't want to brace it. You can, if you feel you need to, like I do with this one, add bracings by holding down the Alt key. And sometimes that happens, which is not what I wanted. Actually looks really good. And you do not disturb the front surfaces at least, which is more or less the parts you want to see anyway. Let's take a preview. You can see layer by layer, and you can actually run it in the simulator. And this one is actually not so bad to run in between. You see if you have missed parts. I have found some obvious places that's not that visible, that's hanging where you didn't think you had any issues. But I think actually I'm satisfied with this one. So I hope you got some ideas on how to proceed with your supports, and I say as I used to, this is how I do things. Usually I succeed, and if I haven't succeeded, it's usually because I haven't put on enough supports. So this could probably need even more supports, but I think it will hold up really well right now. So this was what I had to present to you today. I hope you liked it. Please leave comments, leave questions, or even send some suggestions in the comments on what you would like to see in other videos. Thank you and goodbye.